The first was the review and development of the history book, manuscripts that had started being generated in the previous mandate, and follow up with the design and its launch with the help of the media and publications team, and we were able to do that. In addition to that, I was supposed to ensure that the minute-taking template that was launched last mandate is being used appropriately and is used to properly take the minutes for the regional assembly, and I trained the QDT team in its use and ensured they were able to use it well during the first quarter. In addition to that, I was able to also generate the membership grant call guidelines with the help of the Regional Relations Office, and were able to use that to generate the concept note for the membership grant that was won by TAPSA and KEFSA Kenya in the previous quarter. And the incomplete tasks was, first of all, the development of the interprofessional event guidelines with the projects team to ensure that as we do interprofessional collaborations, either with other regions or association and the other, we have proper guidelines that govern those projects. And second was policy writing guidelines to ensure that as CPs undertake policy session writing for their associations to be able to represent the country properly, they're able to capture all the points necessary to be able to policy papers well that are properly representative of the African region. So those are the two I was not able to do. But then I was able to develop 2 policy papers in collaboration with AfRO, and they will be released before the end of this, before August, sorry. The second action point was regional documents, reports, and archives. So this mainly involves the usual administrative running of the office, maintaining effective records and coordination of meetings and taking minutes. For this, I had to do monthly RWG updates and distribution of those to CPs, SEOs, and the AfRO team at large, just to know what the RWG is doing each month. In addition, I had to ensure that meetings are properly scheduled and so that they have proper attendance, and that required distribution and development of Google Forms. I also had to coordinate the translation of project-related documents, media documents, and constitutions as requested by the RWG, IPSF coordinators, and all those who needed.
Your time is up as official documents.
Thank you.
Does any association want to propose for us continue? Not yourself. Second up. KEFSA Kenya. How many minutes now? 3. Go ahead.
Meetings, which I have an indirect role as regional secretary. And my last action point was capacity building for the quality, documentation and translations committee, and innovative ideas for them, even as I head them as my subcommittee. For that, I had 3 main tasks: conducting soft skills training for the team and ensuring they have proper communication and scheduling skills as part of the secretarial committee. Another idea I had for this committee was doing inter-subcommittee delegation, where I delegate QDT subcommittee members to the different AfRO subcommittees to enable them to learn what happens in those subcommittees, even as they do QDT mandated work in there. And the last was doing team building sessions, which were conducted every quarter, in which I was able to evaluate how they found the quarter, what they were able to do, if I satisfied them as their leader, if they have any feedback for me for the new quarter. So throughout all these action points, I was just supposed to ensure that all the new ideas that are brought out by every secretary in every mandate are properly utilized and implemented, even as I do my usual tasks as a secretary. Of course, our mandate was successful in my book. I learned a lot, and I was able to perform my tasks and bring about a few novel ideas in the QDT team. And I hope for those coming after me that they not only bring in novel ideas, but they ensure the progressiveness and overall quality for the QDT team, for the RWG, and for all the work that they do, so that we create a proper picture for the African region outside in the global IPSF community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. The floor is now open for discussion on her report. GPSA Ghana.
Yes, GPSA Ghana. I would like to ask Ms. Stephen if there was any reason or challenge that she faced which led to her not completing the remaining 2 out of 5 of the tasks, which were stated in your report. Thank you.
Do I have the floor?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So usually my role as secretary involves ensuring that every regional office is working at tip-top shape, while also performing my secretary mandated tasks. So due to time constraints sometimes or overlap with several projects, I was not able to do the interprofessional event guidelines with the projects team because, of course, we have a set calendar. And while there's translations going on, there's implementation, there's promotion of media-related activities, sometimes doing the really technical work that is involved in development of guidelines might not be as resolutions from the policy papers we get from CPs during the policy sessions. We're not able to get a proper picture of what is happening in their countries because what is written in one association might not be what is in another association. So you might have one association answering one question and there's no clear answer to that question in another association's paper. So I still feel that there's a need to do those policy paper related guidelines before I leave office. And if not, then I'll do that as part of my handover process with the next regional secretary, because even as policy training is done for CPs every year on a global scale before policy sessions begin, there's still a gap in there that requires to be filled so that the policy papers that we give out as a clear picture of what our position is as a region is still not where it should be. Thank you.
Any other? AP Mali.
This is Umu Maija from Edimani. I have one question. Do you think you was representative? So, like,
Okay,
You can speak in French so that we can translate.
someone translate?
Yeah.
I want to say, would you think you was in your
Like you can speak French.
Ah, donc vous pensiez que vous étiez présente pour les membres de votre association ou les membres extérieurs de tout et si oui, expliquez en quoi est-ce que vous avez été représentatif?
Do you think that you were being presented for all AfRO members? If yes, with what action you did for all MOs? If you think you have been really presented, you have been very available for them. Yes, if yes, some example.
Okay, just to be clear, have I been a representative of all associations in AfRO with my, okay. I'll try to answer that question as best as I can. So, as secretary is supposed to ensure proper communication between the team, whether CPs, SEOs, subcommittees, and the RWG, as well as the global community. So my work, issue or concern they have dealt with in my best capacity, and if not, transfer them to someone who can help them in that particular field or task. So one of those examples is my translations team, which I think did an excellent job with this mandate. And what we're supposed to do as the translations team is take most or all, if we're able to, of English materials that are produced, whether documents, reports, minutes, media related activities, and translate them to French. That way, as we release English content, we also release French content, so that both the English speakers and the French speakers in our associations are able to feel heard and feel represented on a regional scale. For that, I ensured that there was a QDT member in the media team. That way, they were able to do French translations as fast as possible for captions and get them put on posters, so that as we release English content or English posters for campaigns being done on the media platforms, we also have a French version done by the QDT team. In addition to that, every single time I share emails that are addressed to CPs, SEOs, AfRO team, I make sure that part of that is any concern, any question, anything that you feel I need to help with, please feel free to ask. My WhatsApp lines were always open, and I always received clarification questions, concerns from different people, and I believe I was able to help them when I was asked to. Thank you.
All right. Correct. Yeah, what you do. Exactly. Not so.
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Mayor. So, like you said, we are here at the Regional Assembly. Most likely, in fact, we will be electing new IWG. So, first of all, what's your advice to the perspective coming in based on the challenges you face? And secondly, how would you advise income executive to navigate these mistakes you mentioned? Thank you.
There you go.
RWG members has mostly one role, and that is to link the whole RWG in terms of communication, and to also ensure that the RWG properly communicates with all those that they lead. For that, I would advise them to always have proper channels that are well communicated, of communication that is. Check your emails as regularly as possible. You will always find emails every morning. Make it a daily habit to make sure you have read through your emails and you've responded to them as fast as you can. Make sure all the reports, all the monthly updates that you're supposed to share are shared on time. If you have agreed with the regional working group, they are going to be shared in this range of dates. Make sure that you always share them so that everyone always understands that the RWG is actually working behind the scenes to ensure that the African region is run properly. That way they're able to keep track of every task that the RWG is doing to achieve the annual goals that they set. The other is to involve us. We have been there, we understand the struggles, we understand the advantages, we understand what you need to do, we understand, what you would face. Just because we have finished our mandate and we're leaving does not mean our WhatsApp lines are blocked, our emails are not available, we are gone and done with IPSF. We are always there. I am always there. All those who came behind me are always there. And if I am not, any of the past RWG is always going to be there. Reach out to us and find out. Yes, there'll be a handover process, but that does not mean that after the handover process, when you officially start your mandate, I am gone and done with and I disappear and I don't want to hear from you. Reach out to me if it's regional assembly preparation. Reach out to me if you are curious of how you're supposed to compile a monthly update. Yes, it's available, but I'm also here to be able to answer those questions. So my advice would be, reach out and be ready to learn. Yes, you might have new ideas, but an office also needs to be maintained. So being able to find a proper balance between those two is important. And that's why those who have experienced it in the past are supposed to be there to guide you even as you move into your role.
Any other? Are we comfortable enough to go into closed discussion? Proposal. Anyone? Sorry, proposals, closed discussion. Kesa Kenya seconded, Nafasa Salaam. Phones or electronic devices of live stream of